welcome to How Ines Rolls. Today I am making a super easy, hopefully yummy lunch. We're gonna get started right now making a healthy ground beef ramen. That sounds so good. Like I said, I've not made this one before, but we're fans of ramen. Now you could use 2 packs of top ramen with using this recipe. Just don't use the little packets, just the noodles. But we like using rice noodles. We kind of think they taste better. So this is half of a pack, so I figure it's close to what I'll be needing anyways. So I'm gonna have this on the side. These are very inexpensive at your local store, maybe like $1 to $2 a pack, and they only cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. So that's even faster, don't you think? And then I am also going to chop up this broccoli and this red bell pepper. So let's do this. So I actually had this broccoli in the fridge, so I needed to kind of use it up. So this is a perfect recipe to kind of get some veggies in or get rid of them. If you don't have like fresh broccoli, you could probably use frozen in this recipe as well. But I also had that bell pepper too because we had I think we had like a get together or something like that, or I had it with a grocery haul and I bought an extra one. So again, happy to have all these ingredients. After I've chopped everything up, I'm gonna use my skillet because my skillet has enough room inside it to add all the ingredients all together. And so I want something that's gonna be pretty large and be able to hold everything. If you have a large like skillet pan, that will be just fine. I need to get one of those. Let me know in the comments if you're a fan of broccoli. I will admit I am not, but I purposely make myself eat it knowing it's so good for your health. So I do love it flavored in like different dishes, or my favorite way to eat broccoli is raw with a dip. This is great, and I'm gonna start chopping up the bell pepper. So I'm just finishing up chopping a whole red bell pepper, and I'm kind of making my chops a little smaller. Now, that's only because myself and the kids are probably not going to eat huge chunks of bell pepper. I know Paul loves bell peppers and onions and all of that, but this is really for us about flavor. So I'm just gonna chop it up a little bit on the tinier side. I'm also going to get a little bit of oil into my skillet and start softening up these veggies pretty quick. So let's get that now into the skillet. Okay, so we're gonna add a little bit of, maybe like a teaspoon of some oil. And then we're gonna get our veggies in there. And then just kind of cook them for about 5 minutes, just so we're kind of softening them up. Now, you could also add an onion, but I'm not a huge onion fan, so I'm going to add dehydrated onions to our meal when it's time to add it in. Okay, so I'm gonna cover this up and just kind of turn it around every so often for the next few minutes. And while that's cooking, let's start on our sauce, shall we? Okay, so we're gonna start off with a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. So I use the liquid aminos because this is a gluten-free alternative to soy sauce. And it also tastes pretty darn good. So, and it's just same across the board. So I don't have to like lessen it or like look for, you know, maybe I have to use half of it because it's stronger kind of thing. Okay, so after that, we're gonna add a tablespoon of brown sugar. I already like this recipe. You might need to put a piece of bread in here because it's getting a little bit rock solid, a little bit tough. So if you just put a piece of bread in your brown sugar, it will soften it up. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. So here's where I'm making a little bit of an adjustment. Apple cider vinegar is really, really strong. So I am just going to use about a half of a tablespoon, not a whole tablespoon. And then I'm going to add, for the other half, I'm going to add a little bit of more oil. So some sesame oil would be perfect. You could add a little olive oil, just because it will help with making the noodles not stick together. Plus, sesame oil is in a lot of Asian dishes already. So we want to make sure that we have the good flavor, plus the oil to make it so that the noodles don't stick. Ooh, those are looking mighty, mighty fine. Okay, so next up, we're going to need some sriracha. Now I'm gonna get, it calls for 2 tablespoons, or no, I'm sorry, 2 teaspoons, but knowing my family and making other Asian dishes, I'm only gonna use 1 teaspoon. And then I'm going to, what I'm gonna do to offset that is put in a teaspoon of oyster sauce, oyster flavored sauce. Let me get that. If you don't have oyster flavored sauces, that's completely fine. You could just double up on the sriracha. You could even do some teriyaki or even a little bit more soy sauce if you would rather. Now, oyster sauce, I was scared of it too at first, but honestly, I love it. It doesn't have a strong fishy smell. It's not like that, but it is a very familiar smell, or I'm sorry, a very familiar taste to Asian cuisine. And so they tend to put a lot of it into their sauces. Let me see if I can get it out. There we go. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is add some garlic. Just a clove, which it tells me on here that I believe it's a half of a teaspoon. Now, I also have green onions, and so I'm gonna add that a little bit later to this sauce, but the green onions really make a lot of the flavors pop, and so we love that. And I'm not a big fan of onions, and you know that, but green onions in a ramen is so good. Okay, now, woo, that is awesome. Okay, these look done to me. So I'm just gonna put them back on my pan, back on the plate that I was using, and start heating up some water to cook our noodles, and then I can get into cooking the ground beef. Okay, I'm going to add the ground beef. Now, mine's a tiny bit frozen, so I'm just going to get that all like broken apart, and it's also a lean ground beef. A meat masher would be awesome, but it's, like I said, a little bit frozen in the middle, so I'm just gonna use some forks. And I got my water starting to boil, and now I can clean up a little bit as I go. Do you do that? I clean as you go. Okay, so while the meat is starting to finish cooking here, I'm just gonna cut with some clean kitchen shears some green onions into the mix. Now remember, this recipe also called for, like a whole onion chopped up. So I'm just gonna add my dehydrated onions to the meat mixture while it's cooking so it can reconstitute. So I like cutting these nice and small, and you can actually put as many or as little as you want. These ones are kind of big, like wider. So I'm kind of cutting them into like thirds and points and stuff, just to kind of make it a little more on the even side. And now I'll take a look to see if we need some more later. And what I'll do is I'll just add it to the top of everything when it's cooked down. All right, here goes the dehydrated onions. And I'm just gonna cook this until there's no more pink, which is getting really close. And then we're going to return all of the yummy veggies into it and then add the sauce. So then it's gonna just kind of sit in its juice and all of the flavors and just kind of marry all that yummy goodness together. Now, I've honestly been looking forward to a ramen with ground beef because sometimes I don't always have like thin cut steaks, or maybe I don't want to make something with chicken because it requires a little more effort. Ground beef, you guys, right? Like, that is a go-to staple in like anybody's, or especially any family's freezer. So I'm super excited to have this recipe. So we're gonna add our veggies back in. So good. And now we're going to get that sauce in here. Oh, mama, yes. So we don't need a lot of these sauces because this is a really strong flavoring. And now we're just going to wait until the noodles are done. So I'm just gonna turn this off. And I am gonna keep some of the liquid from the noodles, the rice noodles, so I can add to it as I need to. So let's kind of turn that off. Keep it sitting in its heat. And then let's get those noodles ready. Okay, so my water's come to a boil. And so try not to be too intimidated by these because it doesn't really have the directions on them, like how to cook them, but it is 2 to 3 minutes. So I just want to add the rest of it. Now, you don't have to use rice noodles. Like the recipe calls for top ramen noodles. So you could just use 2 pouches and cook that up in a couple minutes and then drain it. So we are just doing the rice noodles because, first of all, like I said, we like the way they taste and they're gluten-free for Paul. So 3 minutes have passed, and so I have the water here. Now you could drain it, rinse it out, whatever, and just keep like about a half of a cup nearby. But because my bowl like still had some of the remnants of that delicious sauce, I just kind of wanted to get some of these noodles and swish it in and around with some of that water from that actually what it was boiled in. So like, look, now it's clean and I have a little more flavor, I think, to our mixture. And this is it, you guys. Like, I am just going to now mix this through and I'll bring you closer to show you what that all looks like. Okay, a good little mix in there. Oh, this is smelling all kinds of delicious. So, again, those Asian oils and sauces, it is such a good investment to start like building up your flavor repertoire, so to say. And you guys, you will be so happy you did. So I'm just gonna mix that evenly and start dishing up. Just cutting a little more green onion on top, just for more color and more flavor. And now it's time to dish. Okay, ramen is served. So there's Paul's. And here's Ezzy, because I know he's a little more on the extra noodly side. And then here's mine, and I can't wait to try. So this lunch has a great smell. So let's see what everybody else thinks. All right, so what do you think?
So good.
So good? Isn't that, I'm so glad that we now have a ground beef ramen recipe, because we always have ground beef. So it's a good one, a good go-to, for sure. What do you think?
It's good.
Now, I made some alterations to the spice. Like, it wanted more in the sriracha. You think I should have made it more spicier? Yeah. I know you guys can handle it, but I don't know if the rest of us can. But it's pretty good, Jonas? Mm-hmm. So it had a really good taste. I really loved it. Paul loved it, so that means I'm making it again. So you guys, thanks so much for stopping by the channel. Let me know in the comments if this is something you've done before or you think you'll try. I will add the link below to the recipe that I got it from, and you saw that I did some variations. So I hope that you would be willing to make also some of those variations for your family, depending on your likes as well. So have a wonderful day and stick around, rollers. You just never know what I'll be rolling out next. Bye, everyone.